Today's all-new video is filled with great tips and tricks for fall. From money-saving decor tricks to tips on how to make your mums last all season long. Welcome DIY friends, I'm Shannon from TheDailyDIYer.com. I'm also excited to share some great painting tricks with you as well, and wanted to thank Will Paint for sponsoring this video. Now let's dive into the first idea. Thrift stores and yard sales are a great place to start looking for fall and home decor when keeping budget in mind. This side table was a great find at only $5. It looks like somebody had already painted it once, but we are going to make it look extra nice and high-end with this update. We're going to be doing that with the help of Will Paint. Will believes that everyone can experience the joy of home renovation no matter their skill level or budget. They offer high-quality water-based formula paints with low odor. So why is this great for beginners? First, it includes all the tools that you'll need to get started on your painting project. With the paint, you'll also receive a brush, 2 pieces of sandpaper, a pair of gloves, a roll of masking tape, and a sponge roller. Another reason I love this paint is because with their wood furniture paint, there is no sanding required, which will save you a ton of time and allow you to jump right into your project. They have a great selection of pre-mixed colors, but if you want to get extra creative, they also have mixing color kits that allows you to mix your own color for a custom look. This is a 1 quart size of paint, and it will go pretty far too. It'll give you about 50 square feet of coverage with 2 layers of paint. I was able to do 2 projects with 1 quart of paint and still had plenty left over for future projects. I definitely recommend checking out Will Paint for your next painting project. I'll have a link down in the description box for you, along with a coupon code, which is TheDailyDIYer 30, which is going to save you 30% off, a huge savings. Check it out. I know you'll love it just as much as I do. Now let's get back to this thrifted side table. I wanted to share some of my favorite painting techniques that will guarantee your projects will turn out beautiful every time. Now, with any thrifted or secondhand project, you definitely want to make sure to clean and disinfect your piece before we ever get started with painting. So spray it down, wipe it down really good. And then this piece, since it was already painted, I went ahead and gave it a very light sanding just to make sure that it was nice and smooth and there weren't any lumps and bumps from the previous person that painted it. But a lot of times you can just skip this step altogether if you have a nice, clean, smooth surface to start with. Then we're going to come in, get all that dust off of our piece with a clean, dry cloth. Now we're going to take this piece from black to this beautiful cardamom green. I have all the supplies I need, a brush, a foam roller, and my gloves. This is the technique that I use for all of my furniture painting, and I even use the same technique whenever we refinish the kitchen cabinets. Yes, it was a big project, but this worked out really well and gave us a nice finish, so highly recommend it. Take a paintbrush, not too much paint. Give your piece a good base coat here. It doesn't have to be very thick at all. Wipe it on and then take your foam roller, go over your paint, and you want to make sure your foam roller is dry. You don't want any paint on it. You want it right out of the package the way it comes, and just go over that base coat of paint. It is going to smooth out all of your paintbrush strokes and give you a nice smooth finish. Another tip here is to not use too much paint. Wipe off your paintbrush before you head over to your piece. That is really going to give you a much more smooth, nice finish, and you're not going to end up with a bunch of drippy paint whenever you step away. Definitely don't want that. So this first coat is really basically just our base coat. It doesn't have to be really thick. It doesn't have to look pretty. Don't get worried after you get done with your first coat, as the second coat is what is really going to make this look beautiful. We're going to do the same thing as we did with the rest of the piece to the drawers, painting on some paint with our paintbrush and then coming in with the roller to smooth it all down. So here's what it's going to look like after the first coat has been applied. You want to let this dry for about an hour before you come in to do the second coat. It does look a little bit rough, but our second coat is really going to make this look beautiful and come to life. So here is our second coat. We're going to apply it the exact same way as we did the first coat, using a brush to paint the paint on, then taking our foam roller to go back over it to smooth out all of those brush stroke marks. Once that second coat is on, let it sit for 2 hours. That is going to let it dry pretty much completely. And then we're going to take this up another notch and make it look really, really high end with the help of this gilding paste. You see me use this before. I love it. I love brass and I love bronze. So this gives you the look of it without the expense of it. And all we're doing here is taking some cardstock. I'm cutting some little triangles in there, and we're going to butt that up against the knobs instead of using painter's tape. That's going to allow me to move these around to each drawer, not have to tape a bunch of this off. Super easy tip trick. And then just using a foam paintbrush here to paint on that gilding paste. It's going to instantly turn it from painted wood to a metal look. So here's a good before and after look. The top, of course, is just paint. The bottom is with that gilding paste. Gave it that beautiful metallic metal finish without the expense. Now it's finally time to bring it inside and use our side table and stage it. We're going to add a couple really simple little elements to the top of it, some candlesticks and also some battery powered taper candles and a cute little glass pumpkin, keeping it really simple for fall. Love this look. Also, to remind you what this looked like before when I came across it at the thrift store for $5. Added a couple coats of paint and that gilding paste to the knobs to really give it that elevated look. And it looks much more like it came from a high-end furniture store now versus only $5 from the thrift store. But we got a really great bargain and look in the end. Do you have a piece of furniture in your home, whether it's big or small, that you would like to also paint and revamp? Let me know what it is down in the comments below. I'd love to hear all about it. I hope that this helped to motivate you or give you inspiration or take the fear factor out of painting furniture. If you have the right paint and you use the right technique, you're really going to get a beautiful finish and piece in the end, and I hope that you give it a try. The front door to my she shed had really needed repainted so bad. You can see here the trim around the door was super chippy. I had been putting it off and I just couldn't anymore. I had this paint out and I was like, you know what? Time to do it. Sometimes you get that motivation and you just go for it. But I did want to show you that this door is thrifted too. We got it from a restore, a Habitat for Humanity store years ago. Brought it home, refinished it. So it just needed to be refinished again. We actually built this whole she shed. If you haven't seen that, I have a playlist I'll link down below where we built this whole thing from the ground up. Used some refinished items, some thrifted items, and this door is one of them. So here is what it looks like before. I love the robin's egg blue, but it was just time for something different and a change. It had been probably 4 years now since this all had been done. So I took the sander to it, knocked off all the chippy paint, did the door as well, and then just made sure to tape the floor off. You definitely want to do this on a nice day. It was pretty humid this day, so I didn't pick the best day to do this, but the paint still worked really well and dried really well. So if you're worried about that, don't be. This is a great weekend project or even just a day project. This only took maybe 4 hours with dry time, but paint time, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. It really, like, total. I didn't use any tape to tape off the glass. I just went at this with my little paintbrush, went around the door, and just was very careful not to get the handle or anything. And then I also came in with the same Dwell paint and did all the trim to the outside of the door. And this just was like magic. It was like, finally, all that chippy paint was gone and this door was going to have a nice frame around it again. So this didn't take very long either. What I did is I painted one coat, let it sit for an hour, came back in, did a second coat, and then I left the door open for 2 hours to let it dry all the way. And this was the end result. So much better, right? I am loving this color. And it's very similar to the color we painted our kitchen as well in our kitchen renovation. So such a beautiful color. Couldn't be happier with it. I also want to share with you, you saw some mums sitting on the porch. I wanted to share with you a great tip to help your mums last all season long. You want to get a couple buckets and just fill them up to the top with water. And once you get your mums, before you put them out on your porch or anything, throw them in these buckets of water, you just want to make sure you push them down so the entire base of the mums, the planter and everything are submerged under the water, and let these sit for about 30 minutes. It's going to absorb into the soil. It's going to hydrate everything. You don't know how long it's been sitting on a shelf in a store or wherever you're getting them from, and just let them soak up, and it'll help hydrate them right off the bat. I did find this great bucket at the thrift store, only $2, the perfect size to put these mums in. So this is another great money saving tip. Hit the thrift store besides going to the store to find planters for your mums, because like I said, this was only $2. Really nice galvanized bucket. We're gonna make this look a little bit more fall with some Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. Literally just taking some hot glue, gluing this ribbon around the outside just to give it some texture, a little bit of style versus just the plain metal. Totally up to you if you want to do that or not, but I really love the added texture of it, and a little bit of hot glue and burlap went a long way. And like I said, this is the perfect size to put the mums in. But because these are live mums, I did drill some holes into the bottom of the bucket so it had some drainage while it sat on the porch. So here we go. After 30 minutes of letting these mums sit in those buckets of water, it's time to take them out. Obviously, Honey here thought she needed to help, but she is so cute. Such a good helper. And we just took these over to the porch. I only had one bucket, so I'm going to be heading back to the thrift store here this week to see if I can find another planter for the other side. But the right side of the porch looks extra cute with the bucket and the planter for this mum. Loving the addition of the pumpkins too. And as you'll see, the really cute wooden quote-unquote wreath door sign that I got also from the farm store that helped just bring this whole look together with the new paint color. Another tip to having your mums look beautiful and last all season long is to water them from underneath. So not necessarily like a rain shower over the top. You want to get down up underneath all of the greenery and water just the soil. That's going to help your flowers not sort of decay and wilt over time. So if you've been around here for a while, then you remember this thrift store find back from the spring. When I found it, I said, hold on, I have a cute idea for this for the fall. And today I'm sharing you that idea that I have for it. It's sort of like a fireplace, put your firewood in there, but I thought it would be cute to actually put pumpkins in here for fall. I also wish I would have had my birch logs from Christmas time out, because I think I probably would have stuck some of those in there too, but it's all packed away with the Christmas stuff right now. But I may update it come winter time when I pull the pumpkins out. I also thought it would be fun to add some fairy lights to this display. A cute way to add a little bit of light during the evening time in the fall. The time change is happening rapidly and those cozy nights are coming. I also added some fairy lights to this lantern off to the side with some Dollar Tree pumpkins and some pine cones in it. And as you saw a while ago, I also have that leaf garland that I created out of some fairy lights. So I think fairy lights are going to be very, very popular come fall and Christmas time. So have those ready. It's the perfect way to add some coziness to your home this fall. So we are going to shift gears completely and head into the kitchen and make some chocolate spoons. Thanks to this thrift store find. It is an I Love Cocoa set that has Cocoa Bomb stuff in there, chocolate spoon stuff in there. It was only $5. I had to do some research because it looked really nice. This is actually a website you can go to, Handstand Kitchen, and they have cute sets like this. They didn't have the exact one, but the similar one was $35. So we saved $30 on this one. Obviously, you can't find this anymore, but I will link similar supplies down in the description box below. You can make your own chocolate spoons with these molds, and you can find them on Amazon for only $5.99. So pretty good deal if you still want to recreate these cool chocolate spoons that we're about to make. So this was a really fun thing to do outside of DIYing and crafting, is like baking and making your own fall goodies. I've done this in some other videos, so this one sounded like it would be fun to try too. I headed to Michael's, grabbed some candy melts, and this set came with this cool little silicone bulb, and it also has a lid on it, so you just throw your candy melts in there, pop the lid on, and pop it in your microwave. I did follow the directions on the candy melts, but it definitely is going to depend on your microwave. how long and at what power you need to put your microwave on. Mine took about 3 minutes at 50% power, and then it was still not quite melted all the way. So the help of a spoon or a knife helped me make these spoons. So I just kind of like, instead of pouring it in, scooped it into the silicone spoon mold and used that knife to get off any excess and smooth it out on the back. We're going to be doing 2 colors. We're going to make a Halloween version and a fall version for this. And once you get your melts into the mold, go ahead, tap it on your countertop, get all the air bubbles out. We're going to repeat this with some brown chocolate candy melts. And then once you get these filled, tap them out again. And then I put mine in the refrigerator for an hour to make sure they were good and hardened and not melted at all, so they would pop right out of these silicone molds. So I was so proud of myself. I knew I was going to have to be really careful so I didn't break these spoons in half. And the first 6 went really well. They just kind of came out. I was just very, very gentle with them, and they did fine. They came right out of there. But the last 2, I guess I got a little bit too rough with them, and they did break in half. But there's a fix for that too. I melted a little bit more chocolate and used it as a glue to put these spoons back together. Super easy fix. Just let them sit for a little bit so they re-harden. Then the fun part, we get to actually decorate these spoons. So I used the opposite color of the candy melts, drizzled some onto the end of the spoon, and used some fun sprinkles to put into the candy melts before they harden. So you kind of got to work a little bit quickly with this. And they just look so cute. They are fun. They are delicious. These are great if you want to wrap them into a cellophane bag and give them as gifts, or a fun little evening treat for the kiddos. Perfect to add in some hot chocolate like you see here. Hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying seeing projects that I bring into the kitchen, such as recipes and fun, crafty food things like these candy spoons that I'm showing you here. It's been fun for me, so I would love to hear your feedback on that too. If you like it, I will keep doing it. I'll have that 30% off code and link to Dual Paint in the description box below for you. And I know you're still looking for more fall ideas, so you can click one of the photos popping up on your screen now, and I'll see you over there with more creative ideas for fall.